Hello and welcome back to the Spin Around Podcast. I'm your host Angel, and with me today are my co-hosts.
Eugene?
And Vaughn.
All right, it's been a long time. A lot has been happening in the NBA since we last met. I feel like during the summertime we always go on side quests, and we just like have this little span of like not recording. Of course, we're back. Hopefully, gonna be back for a while. Got to talk about the biggest news. Um, Vaughn has it as his background. I have the celebration as my background. The Thunder have officially won the NBA championship, first title in their history. Also, the first title for SGA. How do y'all feel about this? What do you think of the finals as a whole?
Was it one of the games was one of the most viewed final games since like in 5 years or whatever, and there's a good reason for that. It was probably the best finals in a while, just for how competitive it was, and it just sucks so much that Tyrese goes down like that in the very beginning of the game because he looked like he was on a mission. He hit three quick threes at the beginning of the game, and just like you could see how much he wanted it, and then Achilles gives out. Um, but I got to give props to the Pacers. They could have folded easily right after that happened, and they really didn't. It was pretty competitive up until like the third quarter, and you could just kind of feel it settle. Like OKC was not letting them like get back in the game. And at the end of the day, OKC, we've been singing their praises all year long, and it turned out all to be true because here they are, champs at the end of the day. So good for them.
Yeah, I'm happy to see this team win, especially as early in their careers as they are. Um, they're essentially a college team in the NBA, and at that, they're a college team who was the best team in the NBA. So, or college aged team, I should say. Um, so it's definitely cool to see them win at such an early age in their careers, early time in their careers. Um, Hopefully, this is a start of a new dynasty that we'll see for years to come. I know that we'll talk about this later, but during the draft, they made some draft day trades as well. So, you know, Sam and Mark and them are still continuing to try and build the best roster that they can to compete going forward. So I'm excited to see what the Thunder have for the future.
Yeah, I think they really do have the potential to be the next dynasty with how many not only draft picks they have stockpiled, but they just seem like such a smart organization. They played their cards right almost like ever since they got rid of Paul George, and they started that rebuild. I feel like they've been playing their card rights every season, and just like that they've gotten rid of players that like in our minds was like, wow, that's a big trade. I wonder how this affect them, and it's been working out great for them. I mean, they got rid of Josh Giddey, and at the time that was a big deal. And Alex Caruso literally locked up the like the one of the best players in the NBA, got them to the finals in the first place. Or so it's just crazy. Um, Game 7, it does suck that Halliburton went down, but like they played him in Game 6 to guarantee their season is extended, and it's kind of like that's a risk you run when he was already injured. You play him in Game 6 anyways, and then he goes down pretty quickly in Game 7.
Yeah, bro. I don't think a team is ever gonna let their star player play on a calf strain ever again.
At least,
3 stars down in one postseason is absurd.
at least
Like,
no one in their right mind would. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
do you think they win if Tyrese doesn't go down? I think they
I
had a
st-
good chance if, like, in the fourth quarter, it was a close game. I've seen OKC fall apart in close games. If Pacers kept it close, I think they come out champs.
I'm
honestly, sorry, go on, you.
Nah, I was just gonna say, like, I don't honestly, it'll change the way the game went. Yes, like I think Tyrese definitely would have helped them keep the game closer than what it was, but I don't think it would have changed the outcome of what happened. I still saw that the Thunder were winning the finals, whether that was in 4, 5, 6, or 7 games.
Yeah, if we met last week, I would have said this, but the second it went to Game 7, I knew OKC would win. But I will say, if I also think though, if Halliburton played with how hot he started, it would have been closer. But all of them were on like a different level with their defense this game. I mean, Chet literally had 5 blocks that game. Like he wasn't really a defensive like paint presence that much this postseason. He was kind of getting bullied in the paint all postseason, and then he just locked in this game. So it really just depends. Like I had faith in the Thunder were gonna win either way before Halliburton went down, but like with how hot he started that game, we may never know.
I think it was terrible timing for the coach to have like his worst game of the series. Because why was like TJ McConnell the only guy scoring? He was left out there to die, man. He like it was TJ McConnell and like the third stringers. He didn't put in Siakam, Nemhard soon enough. I don't know why they were sitting for so long in a game 7. It was just crazy. And then
I mean,
like
it's just
like
I feel like it's just tough, if TJ McConnell is your best scorer in a certain game, obviously you're not gonna win. And I feel like it just boils down to like who's performing and who's not. And Siakam wasn't stepping up like he was supposed to. Nemhard really wasn't, stepping up like he was supposed to. Obi Toppin, not really, you know what I mean? So it was like, who can he put out on the floor that's actually gonna keep the game somewhat contain the game in a reasonable manner, and that was TJ McConnell. It was just you can't have TJ McConnell do that.
I think just what was atrocious. I don't know why Tony Bradley was out there getting finals minutes in a crucial game 7 like that. That was a head scratcher. But at least the series as a whole will be remembered as like a very good series, through the future. But it is what it is. Tyrese goes down. He'll be back in 2026, 2027.
Yeah, next season is gonna be very interesting, bro. We have a lot of big names out for next season. Yeah. And not only that, but with the trades that's been happening, if the Thunder, will the Thunder keep up? Because this is the second year in a row they were a first seed. Can they make it 3? Like, we don't know. I think what's really funny though, is just like how obvious how young they are, because they were just kind of like not really taking in that moment. They were just kind of goofing around the entire time. And it's just kind of funny. Everyone's calling it like the worst celebration like in the playoffs history. And it's literally because I don't think none of them realize how big of a moment this is.
Right.
They're all so young and they did it so quickly. But like, bro, I really do feel like they could be a dynasty, which is crazy because we haven't seen a dynasty since the Warriors, bro. It's been years since we've seen a dynasty.
Yeah.
They're like so ready to like, because like some of these guys aren't even on their big contracts yet. Like they're not hitting until like years forward. Mm-hmm. So like you have at least this year, next year, the year after, before you have to actually start worrying about the money. Because that's what tore down the Celtics. Like they got to get out of the second apron and start gutting their team and whatever. Thunder don't have to worry about that. If something goes wrong, they could always trade one of their big contract guys, attach picks to readjust their roster however they want. Mm-hmm. It's kind of unfair where they stand right now because they could just chill, do nothing, and they'll be contenders every year moving forward. Whereas other teams are trying to fix their teams right now. They're not even thinking like, how do we tool our roster to counter the Thunder? So it's just kind of like this void everywhere else. And I think if I'm the Thunder, I'm not even stressed.
No, yeah, the Thunder are cool chilling because like, they traded to get essentially all of these pieces that they currently have right now to rebuild through draft picks. And then on top of that, their future draft picks as well. So who knows who's scouting for them right now. But yeah, I do see what you mean. Like, it's kind of unfair. It's like unfair, but in the smartest way possible. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then finals talking point. This is what the fifth, sixth year in a row that we had a different NBA champion. How do y'all feel about the parity? I know some people. There's been kind of discussion towards it, which is kind of crazy to me. Some people hate that we haven't had a repeat winner, that we don't have a dynasty. Some people love it, and some people just don't care. How do y'all feel about the how competitive the NBA and the parity that's been in the NBA?
I definitely like the mystery of not knowing who's going to be in the finals every single year. But now that my team's a victim of this, the second apron and all that, I'm just like, it hurts. It definitely hurts because the team that won the finals last year, should have been sticking around a little longer than 2 years, right? But
Mhm.
it's just too expensive to maintain. The league, you know, really cracked down on like a Warriors 2.0. But now we're on like the very beginning of a possible dynasty. So I don't know how much that's going to remain true.
Right. Which, like, again, I feel like it could because the Warriors were also built up through the draft. I don't know if they had those picks or they traded for those picks, but they drafted Curry, they drafted Clay, they drafted Draymond. Um, I know they traded for, or maybe they just signed Iguodala. So it was like, you know, I feel like we could be seeing the same thing, but obviously rules change every year, and the money changes every year. So we'll probably see something very similar, but maybe not necessarily the same thing because of like some certain things or whatever. But what was the question that we were answering?
How do you feel about the parity?
Oh yeah. I mean, I like it. I hope to never ever see Cavs Warriors again. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
a like I enjoy the rivalry, but when we're expecting one team to win and then that actually ends up happening, it just kind of gets annoying, at least in my opinion.
Mhm.
I hated that whole stretch up until the Cavs won. Then I was like, finally, LeBron got his one, the Cavs got their one.
Mhm.
But in terms of the different champions, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I just hope we at least see one different team in the finals, whether that's Eastern Conference or Western Conference or both. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm also a fan of the parody. Like, and I feel like we haven't seen this in a while. I mean, like we did have dynasties, but even like during the Heat days, like the Heat lost like a good amount of times.
Yeah.
Like at least with like when the Heat dynasty was a thing, there were teams who could and did beat them. Same with the Lakers. But with the Warriors and the Cavs, it was literally Warriors and Cavs like every single time.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, you know, the Warriors like won. And of course, like that one time the Cavs won, it was like it's now seen as the greatest finals ever. And it's probably because it was something that was like, oh, it's another Warriors Cavs, Warriors are gonna win. It like in a moment of like what's gonna happen every year, the unexpected did happen. And
Mhm.
same thing with 2018-19. We saw Warriors again, but this time we saw the Raptors. Everyone thought the Warriors were gonna win, and the Raptors won, and that went
Right.
down in history. So I feel like people always look back on it with rose tinted glasses. Like no one, no one really likes it until the era is over. Like everyone hated their lives during the Warriors Cavs era. Like everyone hated their lives. If you weren't a Warriors fan, you weren't happy because even Cavs fans, they just knew the outcome. They were happy they were going to the finals, but they knew they were going to lose like every single time. So I feel like I'm excited for a dynasty, but I'm also excited because it's not going to be like Warriors Cavs. It's going to be like the Heat era, the Lakers era, where they could go back to back. They could have a
Mhm.
repeat, but they can lose, and you just don't know when it will happen.
Which I feel like y'all were there, and then y'all fired Mike, and then everything just steamrolled after that. You know what I mean? I feel like that was such an unnecessary move because, like, bro, realistically, that team that y'all have
Mm-hmm.
is a pretty good team. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
y'all don't really need anything, to my knowledge. Y'all don't really need a specific kind of player to help elevate y'all to a
Yeah.
level. Like y'all have Jokic, y'all have a pretty decent Murray, post injury. Aaron Gordon has finally tapped into his role. MPJ is still, in my opinion, still up there, So it's like I feel like the Nuggets were almost there, and then like ownership just said, nah.
It's like the opposite of the Celtics. The Celtics had no choice but to get rid of like their team.
Yeah.
They were stuck in a hard position. It was kind of like, if we don't win this year, we had to destroy the team. The Nuggets destroyed our championship team for no reason.
For
They
no
just
reason.
they just let everyone walk. We didn't really make any trades to ensure we go back to back. They just were kind of like, we got it, job's done. And then not only did they do nothing after that year, fast forward to this year, we get rid of the coach who got us there in the first place, like right before playoffs. We do nothing for the past 2 years. We haven't done anything but get Russ. And even then, like, that wasn't big. I don't think
No.
I was sitting here going, we need a veteran point guard. Like, I was not thinking that. I was kind of like, we've been begging for a backup center. We've been begging for our young guys to play. And I think it took this season for us to actually go, oh, we're doing that now. But like, I don't know if y'all saw this, but the ownership was like, and if we have to trade Jokic, I don't want to do that, but we might. It's like, I like out of nowhere talking about trading Jokic, and it's like, what are we talking about right now, bro? I think the Nuggets are they're a complacent organization for sure.
They're Nico Harrison Jr., bro.
Not even, because Nico Harrison Jr. did it out of like, I know I can make this team better. Like, our ownership is just like, oh, yeah, we got our one. We're good. We have Jokic. We have a championship. Let's just sell tickets. Because that's what it seems
Getting
like.
complacent now.
Yeah, they're getting very complacent.
I will
me
say.
head scratching. Oh, no, go ahead.
Now, I was just going to say, at least my final thoughts before we move on. I do want to see a three-peat. I do want to see a three-peat in our lifetime.
Yeah, it's been a while. Who was the last three-peat? The Lakers?
I'm pretty sure it was the Lakers. And that was when we were like first born. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They
bro.
were on that third ring. Like,
Yeah, bro. We weren't even, what's the word? Coherent. We weren't even actually aware of our surroundings.
Yeah, we didn't have a consciousness yet.
Consciousness, that's what it was.
As far as the Nuggets go, it's like, it has me thinking like, did they actually build this team up, or did they just get lucky with Jokic, get lucky with Murray, to get that first chip? Because the way they've handled it post chip is just, I can't see this team, the team management at least, being like competent. Like, we've had these issues glaring us in the eyes for years, and we've never fixed them.
Yeah.
And then they blamed it on Mike Malone.
Yeah, it was Mike Malone's fault. It's just, those issues are still there, and we're seeing like no traction from them in this offseason so far. At least there's like rumors for certain teams that get this player or sign that player. I've heard not a single peep from the Nuggets so far this offseason.
Our biggest offseason news was Russ declining his option and going to play in Israel. That's our biggest news this offseason.
It's just like, I guess it's happening again. It doesn't matter if you got a new coach, new GM, or whatever. It's just like, here we are suiting up again. So it really sucks. At least my team, I'm heartbroken about my team getting broken up. At least they're doing something.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I'm kind of confident in the Thunder to be the next dynasty, because every team so far, something big happened the year after. Kawhi left the Raptors. The Lakers got that bubble win, and then they just didn't keep those players really. AD hasn't really been the same since that bubble win. Same thing with the Bucks.
Yeah,
everyone was injured after there. Yeah, yeah, everyone walked away. The Bucks, everyone was injured. The Warriors was unexpected. Nobody actually thought the Warriors were going to win. So it's just it just seems like things keep happening to teams after they win. But I feel like with the Thunder, with how young they are, how smart management is, and just how bright their future is, they definitely have a chance to be the next dynasty.
No, for sure. And I feel like that also plays a role kind of in the disparity of champions. Like they'll win a chip and then something else will happen. Players will walk, they'll trade, whatever.
Yeah.
And then they're not the same championship contending team that we saw the season prior. So I
Mhm.
feel like that plays a probably a more significant role than we even think.
Yeah. Like literally every team that's won a chip, something crazy has happened to them. So we'll see. All right. This offseason has been heating up already. It's kind of mid. Uh, Before we get into the news, how do you feel about it so far? Because I low-key think, besides the one big thing that happened, and even that I wasn't too excited about, how do y'all feel about the offseason so far?
Not gonna lie. So I didn't watch the draft because like I was napping. But um I think I might actually tune in to this rookie class. I
Bro,
don't know anyone. I don't know anyone outside of Cooper Flag, obviously, but the things that I've been hearing and seeing from a lot of these from this class has
mhm.
been really good. So I think for this upcoming season, I might tune into this rookie class and see what's up.
I think I think people are sleeping on this rookie class. And I think they're going to be surprised with how good this rookie class is because everyone's excited about Cooper Flag, and I'm excited about Cooper Flag. But like, even players like Edgecombe, the big out of Maryland, like,
Eric Quinn, yeah.
yeah, sorry, I saw him decimate CSU, bro. That man got a game winner as a big, bro. Like, you don't see bigs get game winners like that. Um, Connect Four. There's just a lot of people like who are getting outshined by Cooper Flag, but when the season actually starts, I think people's whole energy around this class is definitely going to do a 180. So I like if you're listening to this podcast, hop on the bandwagon now, bro. So at least you can pretend you knew about ball.
Yeah, it's like for the draft class at least, I may not know a lot of the names, but like I start hearing buzz like an Ace Bailey or Dylan Harper. Or
Mhm.
the Spurs now have this problem where they have so much talent. Like, what are they going to do with all of it?
Yeah,
Um, so it's an interesting problem to have. I don't think they're the only team with that, but like at least there'll be more action with this rookie class than last year's.
bro.
Last year's was so sleepy.
Last year's was fucking. I was asleep on last year's. The year before that wasn't even that good either. Like it's been a while since I had a rookie class I was excited for. I'm really excited for our prospects episode. And then,
Oh, yeah, for the rest of the offseason, the trades, outside of a few big ones, I'm like, put me in as a GM, bro. Some of these trades are
Bro,
hurting their own teams. It just doesn't make any sense. I can't stand
these
by and watch no more.
these trades have been the most interesting in a very, very, very long time, I feel like.
mm, really,
I
so you
feel
don't
like.
you don't agree with us because I think it's also kind of mid.
Well, it's not that they're good trades, but
Oh,
it's just
okay.
like, yeah. It's just like what are these teams doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But we'll get into that. We'll get into that.
yeah. Why don't we hop into it now? Um, right off the bat, the biggest one, I think the first one to hit the tower was Jalen Green traded um to the Suns for Kevin Durant. The Rockets now have KD on their team. I don't know the full details. I think it was kind of like,
They
let's see
traded a
here.
lot, bro.
They
They
traded,
traded a
yeah,
lot.
yeah. So the Rockets sent Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, which is crazy, the number 10 pick in the 2025 draft, and 5 second-round picks for just
Wait, who did the Rockets draft for that pick? Because he's drafted already.
let's see. Let me pull it up real quick. And then yeah, all that just for KD. I think that's the only thing they got back, if I'm not mistaken. So
You said number 10? Noah Aseng Asengue. Esengue? I don't know how to pronounce that.
Yeah, I don't know who.
Esengue?
Yeah, I have no idea who could possibly.
Hope it's a big man, bro. The Suns need any big man.
He is 6'10", small forward, power forward.
Am I looking at the right one? See, I have here that they drafted Kaman Malik from Houston.
Oh, am I not? I could not be looking at the right thing. Let me
10th
see.
overall, Kaman Malik sent us. Dude, Google AI is fucking garbage. A center from Duke, but I don't think that's right. I think it's Houston. Yeah, so from Houston, Kaman Malik, number 10.
I will
And
say,
then Rasheer Fleming.
I do love this for the Rockets, only because Jalen Green was looking to become an issue for the Rockets. At least come playoff time, he would show up for a game and put up nothing good for them for the next 3 games.
Yeah.
So it kind of solves that problem for them. Dylan Brooks, I think Kevin Durant is just an upgrade over Dylan Brooks at forward. Like,
yeah,
that's a big W for the Houston Rockets. And then, they needed like a scorer to close games, and who is Kevin Durant besides one of the best to do that? And then you get rid of some draft capital, yes, like 1 first round, and who cares about the second rounders? If we're competitive now, might as well. And then the Phoenix Suns, bro. What is this package you got, man? Jalen Green, another guard.
Shooting guard.
Yes, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, and now him. That's an issue. And Dylan Brooks, he could be good for them, but he's not replacing what Kevin Durant gave you.
I have a theory that they're gonna rebuild.
So okay, do you think they're gonna get rid of both Beal and Booker this offseason?
They literally cannot get rid of Beal. Like,
oh yeah, that's true. No
they
trade
literally
clause. No trade clause.
They literally cannot get rid of him. But I think they're just gonna play it safe this season, not really do anything else after this. I think the only other trade they made was they got Mark Williams. So I think they're just kind of maybe we'll make play-ins, maybe we won't. But I think they're preparing for a rebuild. I think they're gonna start hoarding draft picks here soon.
They're just coasting.
Yeah, because 4K, I feel like that is a lot, but I feel like you could have gotten a better player. I feel like the draft picks are very solid, but the players they got, we've seen people get way better players for much less.
Bro,
yeah,
a forward like a Tari Eason, a Jabari Smith. You couldn't get any of them.
Yeah,
bro, they're such a small team now. So
yeah, the Suns got fleeced, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I'm still heavy on the Jalen Green hype train. I know he's still not at his potential that we all see him at, getting to or whatever, but I still have high hopes for him. I think the Suns may elevate his game because now that they got 3 point guards shooting guards, I think they're going to put Devin Booker back at point guard. Put the ball in his hands for majority of the game, try and run the offense, and then either Bradley Beal or Jalen Green, take that shooting guard spot. But Suns got fleeced. I still have no belief in the Rockets. I'm not even gonna lie. They might win some more games, but in terms of win now, I don't think they're winning nothing.
I think job's not done for sure.
Yeah, they could afford to do more, but this was a second seed in the West. Was that what they were? Yeah, second seed in the West. Now you get KD. And going into KD, being traded for a team, I think this is the least the team has had to give up. Even when you lost D'Angelo Russell for KD, they still shifted their roster completely on the Nets to what it was, and it didn't pan out. The Phoenix Suns gutted their roster for KD again, and now the Rockets only have to give up, a shooting guard, which they didn't necessarily need, and Dylan Brooks, which now they have centers, they've got scoring, they have defense, they have veteran leadership, they have youth. They kind of have a good mix of everything. So
Yeah.
we'll see how this goes, but I don't think they're a first round exit this time at least.
Yeah. I mean, they almost weren't this time anyways, bro. They just choked that game 7.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. I honestly, I don't see them. I see them being good still. I don't see them winning anything. I think they still have some work to do. I'm excited though about KD and Amon. Is it Amon or Asar that's on the Rockets?
Amen. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I think them two together, that's gonna be nice, bro. That's gonna be nice for sure. Because Amon Thompson is kind of like, he's low key like, it looks like God made him for basketball, bro. Like he's a fucking specimen out there.
I will say, yeah, like the team will definitely probably look better compared to last season. I'm a little bit concerned about their defense. I know they didn't lose a whole lot, but Dylan Brooks was like their anchor, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
KD's not going to provide that. So it's going to
Yeah.
fall on someone else's hands.
Mhm.
But they still have a majority of their core. They still have Thompson. They still got Şengün. They still got Jabari. Like
Eason,
they,
bro.
they, yeah, like they got the pieces that they need.
Mhm.
And then I'm also kind of interested to see how Udoka coaches KD because, like, obviously we saw Udoka with Tatum and Brown, and
Mhm.
was kind of like their upbringing in the league. But now with a certified veteran on his team, I'm interested to see like how he goes about coaching and like his whole system and whatever kind of offense they run.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Moving on. The first blow to the Celtics followed shortly after this. Um, the Celtics traded Drew Holiday for Anthony Simons and 2 future second round picks from the Trailblazers. I think we got to let the Celtics fan talk about this first.
Broke my heart seeing that. Should have been on this team longer, but it is what it is. I don't know how we were the one getting second round picks, considering this was like a salary dump trade. Because we also get Anthony Simons, which is exciting on one hand, but like I'm trading one of the best defensive guards for one of the worst offensive guards. So we'll see. We'll see how that works out. I'm also kind of scared. Like like there's still rumors that Anthony might not even be on the roster when training camp starts. They might want to try and flip him for something else. So maybe stuff isn't complete. Maybe Brad Stevens has more moves to make regarding him, but I'm just gonna assume like we're gonna see him suit up at the guard spot, which you know I think he'll fit right in offensively. He was like one of the top 10 3-point shooters last year. So Joe Mazzulla's frothing at the mouth at that thought. But it doesn't fix like what happened come playoff time. Too many threes. Um, I don't know. Maybe Anthony. I honestly have not seen a whole lot of Anthony Simons last year before. So at least maybe this is the year I become a fan of his. I don't know.
Yeah, my initial thoughts, bro, before I knew this was a salary dump, I was like, are the Celtics like okay? Like, like, did someone have a seizure in the front office? I was like, why are we trading Drew Holiday? Like, that didn't make any sense. Um, but yeah, nah, I don't. He's probably gonna make your team worse off. If he plays, I feel like any team without Drew Holiday is worse off. Um, after the fact, you know, um,
Yeah.
arguably one of the best perimeter defenders and or defenders in the league. Um, and you know, nobody's replacing that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I believe in player development, so at least in the Celtics player development. So assuming he stays on the team and goes through the season, I believe that Simons could get better than what he already is. Because I still believe that he has potential too. He's one of the younger guys. But yeah, my initial reaction, I literally saw that tweet pop up on my phone and I was like, bro, huh? Like, it didn't make any sense. But
Also, for like the Blazers, I hope they don't trade, or I hope they don't keep Drew, because Drew should be out there like competing for another championship somewhere. Um, if not, I guess this Blazers team is be crazy defensively. With him, I know Donovan Clingan was one of the better defensive rookies. Jeremy Grant, Tumani Kamara. So maybe they'll be a more interesting team if they keep Drew. But like, I'm probably still not tuning into the Blazers unless they're a playoff team, which they won't be. I don't think.
Yeah. Yeah, bro. We've been talking about the salary dump for a while. I think last time we met, we talked about how we really hope it's just Porzingis and Drew Holiday somehow survives. Because I think we knew one of them was getting traded, and we're hoping that it wasn't both. But unfortunately, it was both, and it sucks, bro. It really does suck because Drew Holiday. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Drew Holiday was a reason why they won that championship, and not in the sense of he was the best player on the team, but in the sense of the second they got him, they were on a whole nother level.
yeah,
Missing piece.
Yeah, and like it was just insane to see how how much better they were with him, and now just to turn around and trade him a year after that championship, and like for someone who I'm not gonna lie, I feel like you could have gotten someone so much better, bro. And like who I don't know, but like it just seems like the three ball is still gonna be a heavy factor of the Celtics because like that's the only reason why I see why they got him is because I think Mazzulla's like, no, I swear shooting nothing but threes is actually a good strategy, and he's just kind of doubling down, is what it seems like.
which it's like, sure, you can shoot yourself and shoot as many threes and win a game, but you can also shoot yourself out of a game. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
we've seen it happen. We've seen them win off of made threes, and we've seen them lose off of missed threes. So I don't know. Maybe he's just a serial gambler and is just willing to take that risk.
yeah.
I
All
think
right.
the idea behind it is because you lose Tatum, that's 20 points plus down the drain, and you need
Yeah,
a substitute for that. And I guess Anthony is that substitute. But I don't even know if he's going to be back for the following year because this is his last year on his contract. So you might just let him walk to make that money work. And this trade could have been just for two second rounders. But I don't know. At least like he's trying to make next year competitive because the Celtics next year are probably ugly. But like uh, it's something.
yeah. All right. I'm only going to talk about this because there are some trades I'm going to skip over. So this is one of the only other like good trades that like I am going to talk about for sure. Wizards trade pull to New Orleans for McCollum. The Pelicans also received a 2025 second round pick, specifically number 40, and the Wizards got a future second round pick. The year is not listed, so I have no idea what it was. So yeah, the Pelicans got Jordan Poole and Sadiq Bey, and the Wizards got CJ McCollum and Kelly Olynyk, who I don't know how the fuck he's still in the league, but
I
he
don't
is.
either.
How do y'all feel about this trade? Did it like rise anything in you at all, or were you kind of sleeping?
Board
Dog shit
prediction.
trade, man.
I
Board
got a board
prediction.
prediction.
The earliest one I think we might ever have.
DJ McCollum retires after this year.
All right.
He's going to play not his worst season, but it's going to be the worst season for him. And he's going to be like, nah, bro, I can't handle it. And he's just, peace, I'm out of here, bro. He's gonna go on and be the NBA journalist that he wants to be. Bro, I saw this. I'm happy for Poole. I'm happy for anyone who gets out of Washington. I feel terrible for anyone who enters that city, bro. And it's like, the city itself, Washington D.C., is bro, it's a good city, it's a thriving city. It's a pretty nice place to live, but it's bro, the team is just horrendous, bro. The WNBA team could probably beat this NBA team, bro. That's how bad the Wizards are, bro. And I don't even mean to take shots at the Mystics, but come on, bro. The Wizards, I have no belief. I never had belief, even when I was a brief fan of the Wizards. Never had belief. Probably never will have belief in the Wizards. So I'm sorry, CJ. If you're listening to this podcast, I'm sorry for you, bro.
Yeah. If CJ does go out that way, that's gonna be one of the saddest ends to a career in a Wizard uniform. I don't see how this helps either team, to be honest, other than Jordan Poole's a little younger. But even CJ McCollum on the Pelicans had some point guard duties. He had to set up the team in certain instances because they don't really have another point guard with DeJounte Murray out all last
Mhm.
season. And then Jordan Poole he's kind of a loose cannon at times. So is that going to affect Trey Murphy? Is that going to affect DeJounte Murray when he gets back? Maybe even Zion? I don't know. I don't know where Jordan Poole fits in here. And Sadiq Bey, I don't know when he comes off injury, but it's been a while since he played a game in the NBA. So he'll probably take time to get back to where he was, or he might not be the same. Maybe he's not that 3-and-D guy anymore. I don't know. And bro, Kelly Olynyk and the Wizards should never happen because I don't think Wizards fans have forgiven him for 2017, cutting them down in the second round. That's the furthest they ever been. The Kelly Olynyk legacy game. If I didn't forget it, I guarantee you Wizards fans haven't forgot it. So that man might be dead on sight as soon as he steps on the court. It's just what a questionable trade, man. Pelicans might be in the running alongside the Bulls for one of the worst franchises that just don't know what to do. They don't know to rebuild. They don't know when to get competitive. They trade guys way too late. It's just a mess down there.
I will say about the Bulls though, before we get into the actual trade that happened, I think they're starting to rebuild. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that.
Yeah. All right. I have nothing to say about this trade, to be honest. I literally do not care about this trade.
This is what I mean though. This offseason so far, because it literally just started, has been the most interesting trade wise, has been the most interesting offseason that I think we've seen in a long time. Because teams genuinely don't know what they're doing right now.
Yeah. We're seeing a lot of movement, but it's a movement that doesn't really shake up the league.
It's a lateral movement. Yeah, exactly.
All right. Except for this one team is really doing some crazy things. Not soon after the Drew Holiday trade, the Celtics said job's not finished. They traded Kristaps Porzingis. It was a 3-team deal. So the Celtics got George Niang and a second-round pick. The Hawks got Kristaps Porzingis and a second-round pick, and the Nets got Terrence Mann, and a 2025 first-round pick, specifically number 22. So how do y'all feel about this trade? Yeah.
Bro, I've never liked George Niang. Whenever he was on the court against my team, I'm like, oh, he's a cone. Cook that man. And now that he's suiting up, I hope he doesn't suit up, bro. I hope he's not a Celtic. I hope he gets flipped. I hope he gets waived. I don't need him in the city of Boston. And to lose Kristaps like this, no, bro, no. Okay, at least there's some plus sides on the Drew Holiday, Anthony Simons trade. There's none on this. It's just purely salary dump. I don't care about the second round pick, George Niang, whatever. Hawks did the fleecing this time.
Yeah.
I understand it had to happen, but Hawks, bro, if they get their 40 games of Kristaps Porzingis in the postseason instead of early on in the season, maybe they get out of the first round. And the Nets.
Why are you here, bro? Why are you here?
They were just here to facilitate, probably, because you don't need Terrence Mann. I don't even think anyone needs Terrence Mann at this point. They got a first round pick, I guess, a late one, but they get something. Yeah, another trade I hate for everyone but the Hawks. But I guess like there's something you said about the salary dump. There are other teams who could not have pulled this off. They would have went into the season with Kristaps. But man, I just hate to see it.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. Wait, hello?
Yeah, we hear
I
you.
hear you.
Wait, hold on.
While Eugene figures that out, I honestly, bro, there's another trade that's like, I don't really care about this trade either, except that if Kristaps Porzingis does play a good amount of games with the Hawks, that could be fun to watch, bro. They could be more fun to watch now. But if the rumors are true, if the theories are true, and this man has AIDS,
Wait, what?
then I think the Hawks just kind of put themselves in a deeper hole. Do you not know about that theory, Eugene?
No, bro.
All postseason, Kristaps Porzingis had this mystery illness, bro. Like they wouldn't say what it was. They just said he was sick with something. Most likely it's COVID, but everyone has been theorizing that it's AIDS because of like the symptoms he has and the fact that like when he did get playing time, he was out of breath in like 2 minutes.
Bro, what?
And now with this trade, specifically of how little the Celtics got back, people think it's even more for sure AIDS because of how how they couldn't get much out of it. I don't know how true that is. It's literally just a rumor. And not even a big rumor. It's literally an NBA Twitter rumor. Like it's not even like no one else is talking about this.
That's insane, bro. No, I didn't hear that. That's crazy.
Yeah. Another thing I want to talk about is how the Celtics historically hate George Niang. Like every time George Niang and the Celtics meet up, Tatum is talking shit, Brown is talking shit. Like they do not like George Niang, so I don't think he's gonna stay in Boston, to be honest.
Yeah, before I also knew this was a salary dump, bro, I was like, bro, they need to fire Danny Ainge, bro. Because I was like, they trade Drew Holiday, then they trade Tingus Pingus in a 3-team trade for not even a bag of chips, bro, for like 50 cents. I'm like, nobody wants Georges Niang, bro. I'm sorry. And then I mean, like y'all said earlier, bro, I thought Terrence Mann was still on the Clippers, bro. I didn't know where that fool was. So I'm like, I don't even know why the Nets were in this as well. And then who was the other team? Oh, the Hawks. Bro, so I think the Celtics got fleeced, and I think the Hawks won this trade.
Yeah.
Only because, like, they've been in that purgatory spot in the NBA, not necessarily rebuilding, not necessarily trying to contend either. It's more of like we're fine making it to the playoffs, every year. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Does Kristaps necessarily elevate them? I think a little bit. I think they'll be a little bit more than mid, but I think they're still play-ins, maybe a first round lock. Not much higher than that, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Nets non-factor. And I don't know, the Celtics. Y'all gonna have the most interesting season y'all have had in a while.
Yeah. It's gonna be a weird culture in Boston because not only you basically lost 3 major players in a span of like 3 months.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be very interesting to see what happens.
If you're a fan of the business of the NBA, this is great for the Celtics. But if you're a fan of just the team, of the roster, like I am, I was dreading this trade. But for the Hawks, if Porzingis plays more than 50 games, and if he plays in the postseason, I think they actually get out of the first round for the first time since the fluke conference finals run.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially with like Halliburton down, Tatum down,
Lillard
Dame down. Like that's basically 3 teams that aren't guaranteed out of the first round or even playoffs. So
Damn, yeah, nah, I didn't even think about that. Like, I knew they were going to be out, obviously all season or majority of all season, but yeah, bro, the East is looking wide open now.
Yeah. I think they're going to be a team where if I get them for a wheel spin, I wouldn't be mad. I think they would be more fun. I think for once they will be above 500. They're like when people ask me what does mid mean, I say the Hawks
Yeah,
because they've
yeah.
literally been like a flat 500 for years. So I think for once they might actually break over that and might even like Vaughn said, get out of the first round. Maybe not have to run the planes for the first time in forever. Who knows?
bro, think like Trey now instead of Clint Capella shooting 40% on hook shots, he's got Kristaps Porzingis shooting 40% from three.
From three.
He's never
Yeah.
had this.
40% on hook
pick and
shots is
pop
great.
instead of pick and roll, bro.
Yeah. All right. Skipping Pacers and Spurs because it was just a pick trade. We talked about Suns and Hornets, the Mark Williams. Since then, nothing really happened up until I want to say after the draft was our first big trade again, which was like yesterday. The Bulls traded Lonzo Ball, just a straight up player swap, Lonzo Ball to the Cavs for Isaac Okoro. So the Cavs got Lonzo Ball and the Chicago Bulls got Isaac Okoro. How do y'all feel about this? What I know Eugene kind of hinted at he has some thoughts on this. Why don't you kick us off, Eugene?
Bro, this is officially the start of the rebuild, bro. So hopefully things are looking up for the Bulls. Now, they traded for some picks earlier, but now they got a young Isaac Okoro, which it sucks to see him leave the Cavs team. But at the same time, bro, I didn't think the Cavs could get any better. Now, given Lonzo's been out for 2 years not playing NBA basketball due to his leg, he's not going to come back, or at least it's not expected that he's going to come back like he was playing before his injury. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I still think that the Cavs, this makes the Cavs better because now they have two extremely good playmakers, Lonzo and Darius Garland. Even if you put Lonzo on the bench, Darius Garland, start, swap, you still got someone to run the offense when Garland's not on the floor. And it also relieves Donovan Mitchell of playmaking or doing as much playmaking as, he might need to if, Garland's hurt or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? So I feel like having two very good playmakers for the Cavs team is going to help tremendously, especially if/when they make a deep playoff run. Will they be the best team in the East next year? I think so.
Yeah.
And then for the Bulls, they get Okoro. They got some picks. They traded away Caruso, old vet, for Josh Giddey, younger player. So it seems like that the Bulls are kind of steering towards a rebuild, but we know the Bulls. The Bulls will be the Bulls. And also they traded Levine and DeRozan last year as well. So they're steering away from the old and they're bringing in the new players. So hopefully the management does some good things. We see who's their coach. I don't even know who their coach is.
It's still Billy Donovan.
That's the last time. That's the last name I heard.
Yeah, I don't. If it's not him, I wouldn't know.
Let's see here. I think it is. Yeah, it's still Billy Donovan.
Jeez, bro. They might need to get rid of him too. I ain't gonna lie.
They need like a young player coach because that's all they have.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like they're cooking with grease now, you know? They're obviously going to be rebuilding for some time, but
They have to commit to it.
yes, exactly.
My only thought is it's so funny that Lonzo Ball is finally healthy and they trade him. That's my only thought. It's so funny. He's finally coming back and they trade him away. They even try to give it a year or do a midseason, see how it works out. Like they're like, nope. We can use you for something else. We can use you to get someone younger and probably not as injury prone.
But I think that was a part of their plan low key because they knew he wasn't going to come back for some time, and then that time got extended, and I think it got extended one more time. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like by the time that he came back, this is a completely different roster. Like he played with Levine, Caruso, DeRozan, and
Vooch.
I think Giddy too. So now it's like a completely different roster. And I honestly I do wonder if he demanded a trade, but like, didn't bring it up to the media or whatever. You know what I mean? Or if this was just the Bulls doing.
Yeah.
I'm glad you were more optimistic about the Bulls because I think they're a dog shit management team. I know Isaac Okoro. I've liked Isaac Okoro, but like he's not crazy on the stat sheet. But I don't know where the room is for him there because they have Modest Buzelis, who's a forward. They've got Patrick Williams, who they're still in love with for some reason.
Crazy.
I think that another guy they drafted as a forward. I don't know, but Isaac Okoro I don't think is going to get crazy amounts of playing time, or at least his role isn't going to be huge.
Hmm.
And bro, you just think Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Alex Caruso, Lonzo Ball. Not one of those trades resulted in a first round pick. Like, how do you fuck that up? I know some of these guys have gotten first round pick offers for them, but they just never accepted. They've they've somehow found the worst trade for every one of these guys for their organization. So it's pretty amazing how they have found that. I think the most they ever got back was like a first round, their own first round back, and it was like an okay pick. And that just doesn't really count. That's your own mistake you're fixing. It's just Isaac Okoro. I would rather see him be competitive elsewhere
Mhm.
rather than on the rebuilding Bulls. Hopefully, rebuilding Bulls because they still got Vooch. What are they
Yeah.
gonna do with Vooch? Like, I hope to God they do not re-sign that man because they've re-signed him like twice already, and it just every time it didn't make sense.
Yeah.
But at least the old guard for the most part is gone. I do hope they are rebuilding, like Eugene says. I hope, bro. It also kind of puts Kobe White in a weird position because like he's I don't know 26, so he's like kind of young, but soon approaching prime. So does the Bulls hang on to him because he's like one of their best scorers at this point, or do they trade him? Commit to the rebuild. I'm not confident about it.
I think where the Bulls are at right now is where the Thunder were like 5 years ago. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? Like, assuming they don't mess it up. You did mention that they don't have draft picks, which I didn't know. Um, so it's probably going to take longer. But I feel like Kobe White is their SGA. Now, obviously, he's not putting up 30 points per game, but I feel like that's the equivalent of who he is on the Bulls team, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And we'll see. It's going to be very interesting to see if the Bulls commit or not because, you never know with them. Um, I have one last trade on here that like we could talk about, but honestly, it's just two mid teams, not even mid, two bad teams trading like. So the Hornets got Colin Sexton and a 2030 second round pick, which is crazy.
Jeez.
2030. And then
Brody's in middle school.
the Jazz got Yusuf Nurkic. We could talk about it. It's honestly up to you guys.
It's a dog shit trade, man. We would just be dragging this trade. Whoa, bro. Why did the Jazz give up a pick? Why? Also, why is he on the Hornets? They got Trey Mann. They got LaMelo Ball. I guess they want him as a 6-man. I'm pretty sure they have a rookie or something who plays guard as well. It just makes no sense.
Yeah, I was pretty confused, especially just like the players in general. Like, I understand if you don't want Colin Sexton, but you really don't want Yusuf Nurkic, bro. Like, like his past few seasons have just not been good, and like the season he was on with the Spurs, Brody could not stay healthy to save his life. It's like I don't know, because then I assume they're gonna have him back up marketing. They're not gonna have him on the court at the same time, right?
I think he's probably gonna be a bench guy.
Yeah,
Not,
so
yeah,
it's-
bro. That man's not going to see the floor.
so I'm like, I don't know. It was definitely this has been the most confusing one.
Bro, and
Yeah,
the Jazz hung on to Colin Sexton for so long. This is
Too
the
long.
best trade you could have gotten for him.
Yeah,
I just don't see it.
yeah.
yeah. I don't see neither team needs this player. Like, let's be honest. So they kind of have no bigs now, the Hornets, because they got rid of Mark, and now they got rid of Nurkic, and I'm pretty sure the only center left is I think is a rookie, if I'm not mistaken.
That's crazy.
Like the
So
rookie,
they're running a 2016 Rockets team.
pretty much, bro. Because I think after that, I think their biggest forward, if I'm not mistaken, I think the biggest forward they have is fucking what's his name?
Might be Taj Gibson, bro.
Either
He's
Todd,
still in the
but
league.
who doesn't play? Who honestly, I think the biggest forward is literally fucking Bridges.
That's insane. He's like 6'7", bro.
Yeah,
Oh, shit.
I guess Brandon Miller, but Brandon Miller's like more tall. He's like kind of lanky. He's not really big at all.
And he's
Not
a
only
shooting guard.
Yeah, and he plays shooting guard. So like other than that, bro, they really don't have anyone. They have that one, and not only that, but they also drafted what's his name, the guy from Duke, Knuppel. So they have so many guards, bro.
Yeah, bro. It's just when you didn't think it could get any worse, bro.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. They have Musa Dibate, bro.
Oh yeah,
6'9".
I thought he was a center. That sounded like an African center, bro.
I think he does play center though. He's just a short center.
Yeah, he's a
Oh,
short center.
So we got a Kevon Looney 2.0.
Yeah, pretty much. So very weird. I don't know why either team did this. All right.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Did we cover Desmond Bain trade?
I skipped over that because of how old it's been. We could talk about it though, if y'all want.
What remind me of the trade?
The Magic got Desmond Bain, and the Grizzlies got KCP, Cole Anthony, a 2025 first round pick, specifically number 16, a 2026 first round pick, which they swapped, I think. 2028 first round pick, a 2029 first round pick swap, and a 2030 first round pick.
Bro, we gotta talk about that. Because think about this trade and think about the KD trade and what the Sun, how many picks the Suns got and how many picks the Grizzlies have now. Bro,
This
you
is
just
like
rattled off like 4 first-round picks.
This is like a Mikal Bridges, Rudy Gobert type package for Desmond Bain. Which
Yeah, like
for the Magic, this is like the perfect scenario. You need 3-point shooting. Desmond Bain, one of the best 3-point shooters, and plays good defense, so he fits right in.
Mhm.
But oh my god, 5 first rounders.
Yeah. And two pretty solid players, bro.
Yeah.
Cole Anthony was low-key cooking this season, and then KCP has always been a solid player.
KCP's terrible.
Bro,
Stop it.
what?
Stop it, bro. Don't
okay.
bro.
KCP literally helped my team win a chip.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, not me, bro.
You didn't see him in the playoffs. He was putting up donuts. He was getting dogged on defense. I think KCP is good next to a superstar player. And maybe Ja gets the best out of him. I
True.
don't know.
True. But also, let's be honest, bro. Like, what was KCP going to do against the fucking Celtics?
Not nothing.
But I see what you mean. Yeah, maybe I have some biases from that championship.
Hey, you have yours and I have mine, bro. I hate that fool, bro.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I mean, it is interesting that for who the Grizzlies could have gotten rid of, it's very interesting that they chose Desmond Bain. I
Yeah,
will say that. Out of all
because
the
they didn't.
players they could have gotten rid of, Desmond Bain is one I was like, really? Him of
Yeah,
all people?
and they didn't replace his shooting. You know what I mean? Like
I mean,
Cole
KCP.
Anthony's not shooting that much, and then who'd you say? Who else did you say? KCP.
Yeah.
KCP's probably barely getting minutes. You know what I mean? He's getting bench minutes. So it's
Yeah,
like
that's true.
we're talking about a player who competed in the 3-point contest versus two essentially role players. And then who was their pick that they drafted?
They're number 16. So let me see who their number 16 pick was.
While you look that up, I got a board prediction: Desmond Bain All-Star game.
That's a really early pick. That's a
East is
really early
diminished.
pick.
It's wide open. No Halliburton. No
Oh,
Damian Lillard. Wide
they
open for
got them. They got Chinese Jokic. That was them. Yang Hassan Hansen, the 7-1 Chinese
No,
player.
he's on the Blazers.
Oh, he got
Oh, they
traded?
traded him?
Yeah, he got traded to the Blazers. Yeah, I know. Chinese Jokic. I've been seeing the
Okay.
videos, bro. It's crazy for the Blazers because they have like 5 centers now.
Wait.
What?
So
They
they
traded him?
so they traded for that pick, and then they traded the pick away?
I believe so.
That's
Bro.
crazy. They're like, ED's our guy. Like, no, bro, give me Chinese Jokic.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I'm low-key an ED hater.
That bro, see that's the business of the NBA that I do not understand. Why are you trading a pick? Why are you trading for a pick that you're gonna trade away anyway? You know what I mean?
yeah.
Even then, like,
Especially in the same year's draft. Like that doesn't make any sense.
and even then, like, let's be honest. Let's say you could have used it to get a player you wanted. Like, why would you draft someone you probably were gonna trade?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
It does not make sense. Makes zero sense in my head.
that's
I
crazy.
have no idea what they traded for that pick either. Oh,
Yeah, no clue.
probably
It's not
wasn't worth
even
it.
on.
Whatever it was.
It's not even on the trade tracker. Like, that's how insignificant it was. Maybe I can find it real quick. Oh, they got Cedric Coward.
Who?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
A forward, apparently. Huh, interesting. All right. Moving on to signings. Not a lot of signings, honestly. I might choose to skip some, and if you guys want to talk about one I skipped, feel free to interrupt. So the first one that I want to talk about was probably just happened last week. Kyrie Irving declining his $43 million player option and signed a 3-year, $119 million contract with the Mavericks. So he's locked in with the Mavericks, it seems like. How do y'all feel about this? How do y'all feel about the Mavericks? This is a perfect opportunity to talk about them as a whole. How do y'all feel about them?
They got to be their biggest own cheerleader because I don't see the
Because
vision.
ain't nobody else cheering for them. Not even their fans, bro.
Like the Cooper Flag edition is really nice. Kyrie trusts them somehow. You still got AD. You still have your Derek Lively's and stuff. So they'll be competitive when Kyrie is back. But until then, probably not. I'm not tuning in. I don't care about this organization. Luka is gone. I have no reason to watch. I'm not like. I don't think AD is must see TV. Yeah, I don't really
Not
have much.
anymore, at least.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say, I hope Kyrie sees. I hope he can just see the future, bro. If he's re-signing for 3 years, you know what I mean. Like, I hope like somehow, some way, Nico Harrison. Now, I'm not saying that I want him to, but I hope he redeems himself for the Luka trade. Cooper Flag, sure, whatever. I didn't even believe that he was actually going to draft Cooper Flag, but that's besides the point. Um, yeah, I don't know. I hope Kyrie's 8 ball like comes true. I guess I don't know because, like you said, Vaughn, I don't think anyone is cheering for him.
Bro, you know what's crazy though? The media is trying their hardest, bro. And I don't know if like this is just Mavericks, trying to market themselves because they know they might not sell tickets next year. But like I've been seeing a lot of ESPN, Bleacher Report, just like traditional media be like, who's stopping this team? And it's like, what are we talking about? Like the two main guys on the team, the two starters, most likely won't even finish out the season. So I feel like,
That and one of them is a rookie.
yeah. So like I don't know how traditional media is like why they're doing this, but I feel like honestly the Mavericks, I feel like I'm not really interested in them. I gotta be proven wrong. Like I'm not giving them the benefit of the doubt. Like Nico Harrison literally tripped and fell into this situation. Like,
Yeah.
and the man's like, oh, I like shout out to everyone who believed the process. What process, bro? You did not know you were gonna get the number one pick. Like, let's be honest. Like, what process are we talking about right now? Like the Bulls won in overtime late in the season, and now you had the fucking number one pick. Like, that's literally the only reason why you have it. So like let's chill out.
Which is it's
Yeah.
funny. I used to run defense. I feel like for the Mavs moves pre Luka Doncic. I'm like, oh, I like Daniel Gafford, or they've somehow made a competent roster around Luka. Whereas y'all would be a little more critical, like give Luka help. They could have done more, but I think with what they had, they did enough. The Luka trade broke me, bro. I can't run defense no more.
Yeah, I've always been a Mavericks hater.
Okay. I think I got another prediction.
Oh wait, okay, hold on. For before you say that, I didn't even write down Vaughn's. What was your prediction again, Vaughn?
Desmond Bain All Star.
Okay, you can go, Eugene. Sorry.
The Mavs will finish worse this year than they did last season.
What was their ranking last season? 10th.
Yeah. But
So
I mean record wise. So their record this season was 39-43.
they'll just say will not win 39 games.
Yes. Because you gotta think about it. Luka was traded at the trade deadline. How many of those games did he help them win?
Probably
Subtract
all.
those. Yeah, exactly. Subtract those, and then how many did they win after the deadline? I don't even know that, but I think it's just an interesting thing to look at. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I do think they might be worse, but honestly, who knows? Because like I didn't expect the Rockets to finish second,
I really didn't. Yeah.
so we shall see. All right,
We don't even know
so
when Kyrie returns, right? Like, there's no timetable. Just like late
Mhm.
next season, maybe.
Yeah. And say, well, what about Lively too? When does he return?
I don't even know that either.
Yeah.
let's see. Kyrie is expected to return January or February.
Yeah, bro. That's trade deadline, bro. That's all-star break. Like that's the whole half season. And then on top of that, AD gets hurt every season. So it's like, what are we doing here? I'm not gonna lie though, it might be. I don't want to say a runaway for Cooper Flag, but he's got a real nice chance to
Yeah,
run
bro.
away with it.
He's probably gonna be the main ball handler.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, the Rockets. Fred VanVleet signed a 2-year, $50 million deal to stay in Houston with a player option for the 26-27 season. So man's got a really nice contract, bro. 50 million for 2 years, and not only that, but you got a player option, which is always love when you get that. How do y'all feel about this? Yeah.
I guess Houston's really confident about their win now era, which I don't mind a team trying to be more competitive. Fred VanVleet, I'm surprised got a contract like this big. I know it's decent, but like the way Rockets fans were talking about him 2 years ago, when I was like a wheel spin team, they were forced to be my favorite team. It was just like some days he'd be there, he'd be the vet, and other days they were like, get rid of this man. So at least it's nice to see, an undrafted guy get his payday. And I hope he's still, the dude moving forward. But at least he's, a veteran presence next to KD. It can't all just be young guys. Him, Steven Adams, KD, at least they know what they're doing.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, or I'm not surprised. I'm not. I don't know what I'm not. I am shocked that Van Vliet has stayed on the Rockets for this long. And then I guess now even going forward, even longer. But yeah, this signing pretty much solidifies their win now situation. Like Vaughn said,
Mhm.
I just don't like. I'm not a believer in the Rockets, even with Udoka as the head coach. I'm just not a believer.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I mean, I'm happy for him, but you ain't winning nothing, bro. Sorry.
Yeah, I think you guys kind of hit all the points. I I am happy he's staying on the Rockets because I feel like right now, realistically, they're the only team I can see that can use him as much as he's been used. Um, just because he plays such a certain style of basketball, like I don't think any other team can use him as effectively as the Rockets have used him. Um, but realistically, good for him. 50 million player option. It does seem like though that they're in a win now mentality, and I want to see how they try to pull this off. Are they going to keep making trades and signings like this, or are they going to give up if they don't win in the next 2 years?
I
What
think
would be like the move to where like you're confident, oh, they're at least making conference finals? Like what would have to change for this team to be like, okay, they can make a deep run?
Honestly, if the young players continue to develop, that would probably be it. Because I feel like what can you add? You have Sengun and Neeson. You have Jabari Smith, Van Fleet. You have your guards. You have Amon Thompson, the youngest on the team so far. And then now you got your star KD. Like, what else can they actually add? I feel like you just need your young stars to continue to develop as they have been.
I agree. Like what I'm looking for, does Amon Thompson get a 3-point shot?
Yeah,
Like
bro,
is he
he needs
lethal
that.
from range? Like that's when like the switch flips for me.
I think honestly they don't need anything else. Like they don't need to make another trade. They don't necessarily need another a signing,
Mm.
but I think it's all circumstantial, bro. I think they need like a Pacers run. You know what I mean? Like a this year's Pacers run, like, and to stay healthy, obviously. Because Katie's not necessarily injury prone, but he's had significant injuries in the past.
Mm.
And then with their younger players being younger, it's just kind of development, maturity, things of that nature. But I honestly, in the West, I think it's all circumstantial. It's you probably got to run into teams with injuries. You got to stay healthy through the regular season, or at least for most of it, through the playoffs, and then hope other teams get injured and just kind of work your way to the conference finals and or finals. But
Yeah.
I feel like for the Rockets, or honestly any team contending in the West, other than the Thunder, it's probably circumstantial.
Yeah, I think we all agree that it's like player development for the young guys, and management just gotta. They have to let it play out, bro. That's my new answer. Is that
Yeah,
management has to let it play out, bro. They cannot do what the Nets did and continue to move stuff around for win now. They gotta give this at least 2 to 3 years.
yeah.
If can't just fucking every year keep making trades and signings because then it just won't happen.
You know what a scary thought is if I'm a Houston fan is if Is this just James Harden Rockets versus the Warriors again, where the Thunder are the Warriors in this scenario? Like they're gonna have to beat the Thunder, or at least hope someone else takes down the Thunder if they have any shot at the finals. So it
Yeah,
might
that's
just be a
fair.
2.0.
Damn, are the Rockets cursed?
Dude, it seems like it sometimes. All right. Um, Something that I didn't even know happened, but I saw it in this tracker, and I feel like we have to talk about it. The Lakers, Austin Reeves turned down his 4-year extension. Um, so so he's gonna try to test out free agency. Apparently they want to find a deal, both the Lakers and Austin Reeves, but it's not gonna happen this year. How do y'all feel about that? Do you think he'll test free agency, or do you think he'll resign?
I think he will. Only because he can sign for probably so much more.
Yeah,
Even I think even if he has a bad season, this year, he could probably still sign for way more than the Lakers could offer him. Uh, it's just what team is gonna use him to the best of his ability, which off the top of my head, I can't think of a team that would use him better. Maybe that's my bias speaking, but I don't blame him. Like if I can get more money to play somewhere else, I'm gonna do that. You know what I mean? So, um, I don't necessarily blame him, but I hope he comes back, bro. Because if he leaves, that's we might be going back to like 2015 Lakers, bro.
yeah. I think realistically he just wants to get a bigger contract. I wouldn't be worried. It's just will the Lakers respect him with the bigger contract?
I guess, because like the Lakers changing ownership, maybe that has a factor. But like everything we know is that they love having Austin Reeves, so I don't see
Yeah,
why they wouldn't give Austin that big contract because I think they can offer him the most just because he's been there the longest. So it would take some horrible scenario for him to leave, I would think.
I think the new ownership is what scares me because new ownership loves to fucking put their grubby fingers in shit, bro. All right. Next up, not surprising, Nas Reed signs a new 5-year, 125 million contract to stay with the Timberwolves.
Waste of time. Sorry.
You
I
know,
don't know
you don't
why.
have faith.
Well, I don't have faith in the Wolves, bro. I don't know why he re-signed with them. Well, I mean, no. I do know why because they had a pretty good run this season, but I don't know. I'm just other than Ant. I'm a fan of Nas Reed. Like, don't get me wrong, but like, come on, dude. I feel like he could have went anywhere else, bro. Nah. I'm just not a fan of him re-signing per se. I'm not a fan of him re-signing.
Yeah, I mean, you were 6 man of the year. You could have gotten that bag anywhere else and been a starter, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's what doesn't that what kind of confused me. But like, I don't know. I feel like the Timberwolves. I feel like last season they were very close. They keep getting very close, so I can see why he would want to stay because you've been close to a finals run. Why not just give it another shot?
Yeah.
But 5 years,
But bro, like he's locked in, bro.
5
Unless he gets
years is
traded.
crazy. 5 years is crazy.
Like if I'm gonna lock in like that, I'm gonna try and go to another team, bro. Like I don't know this because I feel like the Wolves. I feel like this is their peak. I don't
Really?
see. Yeah, I don't see them getting to a finals with the Thunder being this good, bro. Unless they have like a basically like a Western Conference version of like the Cavs Warriors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It, it might be a thing because you're getting the money either way. But like he was an undrafted guy, and the Wolves were the team to put some faith in him, and he's the one that developed on this team. So maybe
That's
it's
true.
just more sentimental in value.
Right.
I don't think he's necessarily mad about being on a team that made it to the Western Conference Finals twice in a row.
Hmm.
I think he thinks they're one piece away. I think a lot of those guys think they're one piece away. But I just don't believe the Timberwolves can get them that piece.
What piece do you think they're missing?
Playmaking. Mike Conley is too old to having all this responsibility on him.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think they've had a solid guard in forever.
Like maybe Rob Dillingham, turns into the playmaker they need, but I always thought of him better as, a scorer. Maybe even a six man. I don't know. It's just too young, too early to say. But if they can get someone who can, make the best decisions at the right time, I would feel much better about them.
Yeah, that's valid. That's valid because like right now it's just Ant and I guess Mike Conley, but um, yeah, I
Yeah,
guess
but
that makes
Ant's not
sense because
really
then
a
it would free
point
up.
guard.
You said what?
Ant's not really a point guard though.
No, yeah, exactly. So it would free up his game like so much more because he doesn't have to worry about running the offense. It's literally the offense running through him at that
Yeah.
point. So yeah, I guess that'll make sense. But who would you put on that team?
I don't even know who's available at this point.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
you know what
wouldn't.
I
What
mean?
trade could you do? It's something for these GMs that get paid millions to figure out. If the podcast has to figure it out, they might be doomed.
All right. Speaking of figuring stuff out, Jonathan Kamiga is going to be officially a restricted free agent. The Warriors, don't really give a shit about that man. Are you hoping he gets picked up by someone else? Do you have faith in Kamiga, or have you given up on him like the Warriors have?
Well, the Warriors are going to try and make a trade, like a sign and trade deal. I guarantee you, because that's basically all he is at this point is like some sort of trade bait. Unless the offer for Kaminga is so exorbitantly high that they just can't possibly, match it or get some leverage, that man has to be gone. 29 other teams, one of them will have at least a little more interest in the Warriors.
Yeah, I feel like the Warriors have a lot of trade bait, um, including him, and I feel like he could thrive in the East, low key. I think the West is a little too comp for him, uh, but especially with like this upcoming season, bro, he could probably ball out in the East. Um, is he gonna get got? Who knows? I
Yeah,
think a lot of Warriors fans want him gone, but
Steve
I don't
Kerr
know.
wants that man gone, bro. I have faith in him. I feel like you can't really judge this man for his playoff play because how do you go cold almost all season, all playoffs, and then you get just thrown in randomly and
Yeah,
expected to perform, bro? That's not
yeah.
how that shit works. So I hope he gets picked up from a team that actually has faith in him, but
I
we'll
have
see.
seen the Heat have been interested, which I think would be ideal for him because, like Eugene said, East. I agree. East sounds like the best scenario for him. But the Heat playing under Eric Spoelstra and the only other two scorers on the team is Hero and Bam. I think you could show out there.
And
Oh,
Bam's
true.
not even supposed to be a scorer, by the way.
Yeah.
Like,
So that could be fun. That could be fun. We shall see. I'm only bringing this up because I think it's kind of funny. Um, Jalen Williams, the one who didn't play, he got a 3-year, $24 million contract extension, bro. Man averaged 6 points and 7 rebounds. I feel like the Thunder. That just shows that the Thunder has faith in the team they have right now. How do y'all feel about this?
I'm like, I don't know why they re-signed Duke Dennis, but good for him.
Uh, I think he could be more involved in the future moving forward. I don't I don't expect a whole lot out of him, but I don't think he needs to do a whole lot with every other guy on this roster. But I think he's playing his role. He knows his role. He's not taken away. Like he's like a part of their culture there. I think it's a good signing. Though I don't know where else in the NBA other teams would have interest in him.
Yeah.
Nowhere.
He fits right in.
All right. And then LeBron James exercised his 52.6 million player option for the 25-26 season, entering his record-setting 23rd season, bro. I think the biggest talking point for this is he gonna stay one more year, or is this his last season? Because we really don't know. This man does not keep us in the loop.
Bro, I do not think he's retiring. I think he's gonna wait for Bryce, bro.
I agree.
That's
I
what
think
it's
too.
looking like. Because it's like obviously he's not gonna say that he's just gonna he's not gonna tweet saying like I'm retiring. You know what I mean? We're gonna find out in some obscure way, which like he was teasing us with that Amazon commercial. But I don't think he's retiring, bro. I think he's gonna wait for Bryce and then he's gonna retire. So I think we still got 2 more years, roughly 2 more years of him in the league until we actually start to see him like say something about it.
I'm in the same camp. If the opportunity is there, why cut yourself short of playing with like your second son? Like no one ever gets that opportunity.
And probably
But
will never.
yeah. And then it's like this year, I'm already seeing some push from the media, like this is LeBron's last year, year 23. And then like there was like a workout footage of like he's saying I'm exhausted. He's like, oh, the comments are saying he's old, he's retiring. Bro, the LeBron retiring is becoming like Ben Simmons shooting threes during summer workouts. It's not as true as it seems. Um, I think the one thing about this is the contract. Like he's just opting in. Usually he like declines and does an extension, like a 1+1 or something.
Mm.
But I think he's just trying to make himself more flexible for if he does have to leave to go play with Bryce. Um, but I won't believe it until like he says it himself. Like the speculation, I could ignore the speculation.
No, yeah. We've been talking about LeBron retiring for like 3 to 4 years now. We knew he was hitting year 20. After that, it was like, all right, when is he getting gone?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, yeah, I think it would be kind of weird if he retired the year before his second son like enters the league.
Yeah, exactly. It will be interesting to see though if he retires a Laker or not. I will say that.
Yeah, you think he's gonna force the Lakers to draft Bryce too?
I don't know.
Because I feel like
Well, I think we're gonna have to stay tuned for college.
yeah,
I think we gotta stay tuned for college hoops.
Bryce is actually good, bro. Like Bryce looks better than Bronny, so I feel like he has a chance to be like a higher draft pick.
Mhm.
But we'll see. All right. I'm bringing this up now because for some reason it's in the free agency tracker. So interesting storyline to come out this summer so far is that Malik Beasley got arrested on allegations of gambling related to NBA games and prop bets. And he was. I also didn't know this. They were apparently the Pistons were in talks of signing a 3-year, $42 million contract right before he got arrested. How do y'all feel about this? Yeah, it seems like betting is becoming a problem in the NBA now.
Which like, bro, y'all make so much more money than you can make betting. You know what I mean? Like I do not understand these athletes that bet, but if he actually did this, it's not GG's for the Pistons, but it will hurt significantly only because he's such a great 3-point shooter. At least for them. Um, so assuming hopefully maybe they can fill in that gap. I doubt it. But if they could fill in that gap, that'd be ideal. But yeah, it might be GG's for the Pistons, bro.
Like, was this like the third time someone's been like investigated for this? I don't know if it's like a growing problem or if it's just like they were ignoring it up until Jonte Porter. I don't know. I can't say for sure, but I don't know. It doesn't surprise me given how much, like FanDuel or sports betting is pushed. Every ESPN ad during a game of TNT, there's an ad for some sort of sports betting. Um, but yeah, I don't know if this is going to be the last. I feel like we'll see at least one every season at this point because that's like what it's becoming. It feels like. But yeah, if he really fumbled the bag for sports betting, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, for sure. Crazy, bro. Really? Wow. I mean, at what point does the NBA go like, maybe we're the problem? We have BetMGM, fucking FanDuel, ESPN Bet. Like, bro, the gambling sponsorships are everywhere. How do you look at your players and go, but you're not allowed to do that? Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, it might not even be like a money thing too. It's just like the thrill of winning. You get
Yeah,
hooked on it. It is. It is what it is.
yeah. Well, we shall see what happens with that. Next up, Julius Randle signed a new 3-year, $100 million deal to stay with the Timberwolves. They went all in this offseason. How do y'all feel about this? Yeah.
I don't think he's finishing this contract on the Timberwolves. I think he's getting traded again. They're keeping their core. They're doing what they have to to maintain, but they haven't really been improving, which is that they need to do unless you want to finish, just short of finals yet again.
Yeah.
I will say Julius Randle at least surprised me on the Timberwolves. I thought he was going to be a complete non-fit. Thought it wasn't going to work, but it did work to an extent. I don't know if there's a way they can use him better, if he adds something to his game, if he just does something off season, Aaron Gordon style to help improve himself in the team. I don't know if there's anything that can be done regarding that. Otherwise, this is pretty like neutral. Pretty neutral for the team.
I mean, I feel like he needs to play better defense. Other than that, he's fine. But it's funny that you say that you don't see him, staying out this contract. Because like I didn't think about it like that. It was just like he's gonna be on the Timberwolves for the next 5 years. But I don't know. The fact that you say that though kind of goes back to my point of this is the Wolves' peak. Like me personally, I don't see them getting further than the conference finals. They could hit the conference finals for the next 5 years. But I do not see them hitting the finals because of one reason or another. So again, I think it's just a waste of time, but I see why he did it.
I have a bold prediction. Bootius Randle 3.0 is coming up. This man hasn't ever had 2 good years in a row. He happened on the Knicks. I happened on the Pelicans. He just never does have 2 good years in a row. The year following that after his he could have been an all-star. He's trash, bro. So I really do think that this year he's gonna be a non-factor after all. Especially with how little of an addition they made so far. I just feel like he's not gonna be a factor to them succeeding this year. So I have Bootius Randle 3.0 coming up.
And that goes back to Vaughn's point of he's not seeing this contract out.
Yeah, it's just like I don't know. I feel like this year was. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think this year is gonna be the only good year he has on the Timberwolves. But that's like a prediction so far out that I'm not gonna put on the board. But like, I just feel like this year, everything fell into place, and I just feel like it won't happen again. We shall see, though. I could be wrong. All right. And then the last one I'm going to talk about, and then maybe you guys can throw something in there that you feel like we should. James Harden declined his 36.3 million player option so that he can sign a new 2-year, 81.5 million to return to the Clippers. So how do y'all feel about that? James Harden's going to run it back on the Clippers for at least 2 more years. How do y'all feel about this?
He just only wants to play with Kawhi. I think that's what it is. He's always been the superstar on his teams, other than the Thunder. So I think now that the fact that he's actually playing with someone of his caliber is like, I'm not trying to drop these 40-point, 30-point triple doubles anymore. I'm just trying to do what I got to do. And I think, Kawhi being on that team helps him. So I feel like that's the only reason why he re-signed. Him and Kawhi seem to be meshing well in the Clippers, but I'm also a non-believer in the Clippers, so we know that.
I think it helps that he's in LA. I think that's where he's from. So like, he's got all those connections. He's getting the money. Like, how do you walk away from that? Even though I may hate the Clippers, I don't see them going anywhere. I think he's okay with like retiring here.
Mm. Yeah,
Not too far off.
Yeah, I also agree that I think he just wants to play with Kawhi. He wants to see it out. 2 years is such a like. If this doesn't work out, I can at least leave on my terms. But at the same time, will the Clippers be any better? I don't know, bro.
No.
No one expected them to be as good as they were. And then Kawhi Leonard, was that just a postseason situation? Is he gonna be like that during the regular season? Is he gonna be back? Or was it just he activated some cyborg mechanic he has and, pull that out to maybe get out of the first round, and now he's gonna be back to missing half the season this year. We don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think it was just like, in terms of Kawhi's playoff performance, I think it was just like, essentially, you win or you go home, and he's not
Yeah.
trying to go home. You know what I mean? So he's not going to sit out games in the playoffs just because, unless he
Yeah.
has to.
Yeah.
But as long as his team is in the playoffs or in playoff contention, I think he's gonna play as long as he can play in the playoffs.
Mhm.
There's another point I was gonna make, but I forgot it.
All right. Well, that's all I have for off season so far. Do y'all have any signings, contract renewals, free agents you want to talk about?
Only one I see that I really ain't covered was Bobby Portis signs 3 years, $44 million. It takes a man better than me to sign back in that situation, bro. Back to Milwaukee, and it ain't going anywhere. Yeah, he's better than me.
Hey, that's just how much he loves Milwaukee, bro. His love for the city's deep.
Yeah. I think the only other question we have is Giannis getting traded this offseason?
If he gets traded, the Bucks might get fleeced.
I don't know. If he gets traded, the Bucks might just hoard draft picks.
I still think that's a fleece, though, bro.
I mean,
Because then they gotta wait.
I mean, yeah, it is I guess you could say it's a fleece for this season, but they literally have no future in Milwaukee. So it might just be best for the team if they just get as many draft picks as they possibly can.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
I think just something needs to happen. Whether it's
100%.
Team improvement, getting rid of Giannis, they just need to find something. But it's like the Nuggets, kind of a little bit of nothing for too long. With Dame, they could have even made additions, but best they could do was Gary Trent Jr. What is it going to be this year?
Boo. Yeah.
Yeah, the Bucks might have to just blow it all up, bro.
Yeah, honestly, it seems like that's probably the best for their future, to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
you don't want to end up like the Wizards, bro. All
I
right.
mean, hold on. Last thoughts. This
No,
is my
no
last
worries.
question.
Go for it.
So you just said nobody wants to end up like the Wizards. Are we gonna see a team as bad as the Wizards, like another team?
I
Because you
feel
got to
like
think about it. The Rockets were just there, and then now they finished second seed in the West.
okay, but we got to think about it like this: the Rockets were making the playoffs like just a year before that happened. I think it was maybe 3 bad years for the Rockets before they went right back to the playoffs. With
That's
the
true.
Wizards, ever since the John Wall injury, they did nothing. I feel like right now the Hornets and the Wizards are in a battle to become the worst franchise ever in NBA history.
Hey, might even be sports history, bro. I ain't even gonna lie.
Yeah, bro. Because neither team has gone anywhere. I mean, the Hornets made the play in that 1 year where they got decimated by, I think it was the Pacers.
Uh,
But ever since then, they just kind of been on bottom of the barrel. The Wizards haven't seen anything in since the bubble, bro. I think that was the last time they actually seen any form of postseason, any form of hope. Since
Since
then, it's been
Westbrook,
pain.
since Westbrook averaged a triple double, bro. It's been that
okay.
long.
So what about the Jazz, bro? Because they're on their way right now.
I think the Jazz are trying to do a Thunder. I think they're just trying to hoard picks and build to the draft, honestly.
You think?
Yeah.
I would agree with you because Danny Ainge used to be GM of the Celtics. Now he's the Jazz. But at the end of Danny Ainge GMing for the Celtics, it was like bad pick. He picked like 3 small guards in a row. He signed Evan Fournier to be like the guy to fix things. And now, like
Maybe.
on the Jazz, he's done nothing but like sit on players like Colin Sexton. He should have traded a while ago. Now it's John Collins,
John Collins, Markkanen.
Markkanen. I don't know what he's doing. And bro, he being involved in the Luca trade and not knowing Luca was in that trade. I think he just lost the magic. I don't believe in him anymore, to be honest.
Yeah.
Bro, I don't know because the Jazz had the worst record in the league. They were worse than the Wizards and the Hornets. So I'm like, and they've been pretty bad since Donovan has left.
I just don't
Yeah.
see a path forward from the improve. So they might be fighting for they might be the Wizards equivalent in the West.
I think they're starting to get there.
Yeah, I think right now I wouldn't say they're the worst in the league because they still have some time,
Yeah.
It's the Hornets and the Wizards have been bad for a while. But it just seems like which one of those 3 teams are gonna, do something good first.
Do something first.
Yeah, because Hornets, Wizards, and now the Jazz, they're on their way, to maybe never seeing hope. But then again, the Timberwolves were like that, bro. And look at them now.
That's true. Okay, last team. The Sixers. Bro, the Sixers aren't looking forward to anything good, bro.
Darren McCain, bro.
Okay, one player. They still have Embiid, sure. But outside of them two, bro, come on. We know Embiid is out of there.
I think Embiid might retire soon. I'm not gonna lie.
Like I said, he's out of there. Retirement or not, he's out of there. So bro, I mean, because they still have what's that fool? Maxi, right?
They have Maxey, they have McCain.
And they got a third top 3 pick this year.
Yeah, Edgecombe was who they got as Edgecombe.
Okay.
So they have a future.
All right. It's just bro, the Sixers should not have done what they did this season.
No, the Sixers are the definition of, they give you false hope, bro.
Yeah.
They've come back from the brink of death so many times, but they keep fumbling it. So we'll see. I mean, I'm excited for them just because they have 3 young guys like Edgecombe, and they're all different positions.
Right.
So I think Edgecombe can play small forward. Maxi's more of a shooting guard, and McCain's a point guard. So
Oh my lord, bro. Jared McCain, rookie of the year? Hold on. Bro, are they gonna allow that?
I don't think so. I think he played
No.
too many games.
He
Yeah,
played too many games last year?
Yeah.
Oh man, that rookie race would have been tough this year, bro. Oh my gosh, that would have been so tough.
So we'll see. We'll see. I think the Sixers, they're just like, there's got to be another sports team equivalent to the Sixers. But I don't think there is. They're such a unique breed, bro. Like, how do you get this close to success so
And then
many times?
fumble it.
Like Allen Iverson, now the trust of process era, and now they're in a completely different era yet again.
Right.
We'll see, though. We'll see. All right. Any other thoughts before we close it out? We were supposed to do an end of season recap and then like spin the rock recap, but we kind of went over the offseason for a fat minute. So we'll save it for next week. But any other closing thoughts you want to sneak in there that you wanted to talk about?
Pelicans. I want to see Zion out of there. Get out of New Orleans. I think a team desperate and dumb like the Hornets would probably trade for him. Maybe even the Bulls. But bro, I can't see another Zion plays like 50 games, 40 games, and he's like amazing. But he gets his I don't know, his knee blows out or something, or he's not making weight. I just can't see this routine again.
They're
Or he's gooning too much.
they're also in a very well because he has those. I don't even know if we talked about that, bro. I'm too uneducated.
Oh, I totally forgot about that.
The allegations.
Right.
Out of the league altogether, bro.
Right. Which, bro, is like so unfortunate, bro. Because
He's
it's like,
24.
come on.
He's 24. Like, he's one of the youngest players on the team. And he's also one of the biggest crutches at the same time. Because when he plays, he's amazing, but he also barely plays. They have a chance. They're in a weird spot because they have a lot of young guys. They have Jordan Poole now. They have Derek Queen, who I'm high on. They have DeJounte Murray, who I guess isn't young, but like he is newer to the league. So they have a lot of like factors there that could make them bright, but also they just don't do anything with what they have.
Somebody's just got to check him, bro. Like that's all it is. Somebody just got to check him.
Yeah, bro. We'll see.
I just know he's never getting a huge contract ever again.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Not a max. It can't be. If you do, like, you got issues.
Well, yeah, either that or unless he proves it, like that he deserves it. But yeah, it's not looking too bright for him. My last comments though, NBA GMs don't know what they're doing, and I think they're panicking. So this upcoming season will definitely be cinema. Maybe not in a good way either.
Yeah, we'll see. This season's going to be probably the most interesting one we've had in a while in a bad way. Like, it's going to be interesting to see what teams are good and what teams are bad, but in a way where I think it's just going to be a mess, bro.
We might see a Thunder back-to-back, not because they necessarily deserve it or don't deserve it, but like they're just the best team right now in the NBA.
Yeah, I don't think any team is touching them right now. But that's for a future topic. Yeah, so we're back. Hopefully, we don't go another 2 weeks again. We have, especially with next week officially begins season 4 of Spin the Rock. So we tune in for our off-season topics, all the returning themes and also new themes that we might be cooking up. Let us know what you think of the offseason so far. There's still some big names out there that are rumored to be traded and stuff like that. So let us know if you think they will or will not be. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe to that good old video format. We're also on all podcast platforms. So for audio listeners, make sure you give us a good old 5 stars, leave a review. All social media platforms as well at Spin the Rock. Make sure you follow us there for clips and all that good stuff. Thank you again for listening. And we hope to see you again next week.